is very interesting. Even
So you better keep smiling.
Sherry. I'm part of the winner zone.
Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? I'm sure you guys are wondering, as one handsome other guy we will I will introduce you to him in a while. I will keep it a suspense, just like how when we were introducing him, a lot of guessing game was going on LinkedIn, so that was pretty fun, isn't it, Ajit?
Yes. Some managed to guess right.
I know it was amazing. I don't know how
Yep.
they guessed it. Did you leak? Did you get the cat out of the bag before?
No, never. But I think probably by my size, probably.
No way! I
unique.
couldn't have guessed it. As long as I knew you, I wouldn't have guessed it. Anyway, let's welcome everyone back to another episode of HR Interventions Season 2. Well, we've got quite a number of people viewing already. So nice to have all of you back here. Our previous episode was a month ago, and that is because if you haven't heard, our bi-weekly show has now become a monthly show due to training overload. That's a good problem to have, isn't it? Yeah. Hi, Gladys. Nice to see you.
Hi, Gladys.
Yeah. It's going to be once a month, and date will be announced 2 weeks before every episode. So make sure you stay tuned, yeah? Anyway, we're back with another episode, and as always, we're so excited and honored to have you all here. We all have we actually have a very interesting topic for today. And well, before we bring in the speaker, we need to know more people, right? We need to know who is our new co-host. So if you guys have been following me on LinkedIn, you might have noticed we bid farewell to our previous co-host, and we're welcoming with a big hug, bear hug, our new co-host. So let me bring him in. Please welcome together with me HR Director of APAC of Flexis and HR TV new co-host, Koljit Singh. Also, he loves to be known as Ajit. That's going to be a problem for me to call you Ajit. Hi, Ajit.
Hi, Shireen. Hi, everybody. Thank you to giving me this wonderful honor. By the way, my name is Koljit. I am going to be the new co-host for HR TV. Everybody can call me Ajit. That is my nama manja, nama glamour. You know?
Oh, except for me, I still call Koljit. You know, why don't, I'm sure a lot of them are so eager to know a little bit more about you, you know. I mean, your first time on the show, and why don't perhaps you give us 3 facts or 3 fun facts about you?
Oh, 3 fun facts about me. Okay, 3 fun facts. Okay, the first one would be me and Shireen. About me and Shireen, about our relationship. We go way back. We known each other for almost about 20 over years, if I'm not wrong, Shireen. And at that point of time, I was I was relatively new in the training industry, and I was a training manager. And that's where I met Shireen. She did some of our training programs, and it was a good relationship. It just blossomed immediately. We became good friends. We became buddies. I could always, confide in her and share my problems. And she was like my problem solver at that time, and being very new in the training industry. So Shireen was a savior at that point of time. Even till today, we became good friends. That is the reason.
Like I say, who are you going to call? Don't call Ghostbusters, call Shireen.
Call Shireen, exactly. And that's the reason why she keeps calling me Koljit, because we have got a formal relationship all the while. But no more anymore. Now it's Ajit. all my friends calls me Ajit.
I call you
Okay,
Teddy Bear, like so cute.
teddy bear. boleh. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I actually, by qualification, I am not a HR person. I have a degree in computer science, software engineering,
That's
and I never studied HR. But of course, after doing HR, then I went and did a lot of certification programs and whatnot. I made a switch to HR because I like HR. I like people. I couldn't stand working only with the computers, and being a programmer, I probably would have just sat and died there. Nobody would have known that I died until 2 days later. So to avoid that, I switched the moment I got the opportunity to move to do training, I quickly grabbed that opportunity. That will be fun fact number two. And why I do this, because I love training. And the third thing about me, probably many people would not know, I come from a string of family members who are actually HR practitioners. Quite a number of them. Both my brothers, my elder and my younger brother, both are in HR. So you can imagine what happens when we meet up. There's a lot of discussions about HR and about, it's like, family of doctors. You talk about medicine, you talk about operations, you talk about all the latest technology. We talk about HR, we talk about people, we talk about developing, we talk about hiring, we talk about it. And the good part is there's a lot to share when you have siblings who are in HR. So that's 3 fun facts about me.
I just got a very good idea as you said that. Actually, fun fact number 2, I never knew. This is news to me. I can't imagine seeing you as an IT person.
Me
Because
too.
they're more focused. I mean, they're not like gila like you, Yeah, so good that you changed. And when you were saying you have a family full of HR, maybe we can do a brothers session first on HR.
Yeah, call both of them, all 3 brothers.
Oh my God.
No,
I
cannot.
swear I will keep quiet then. I will have
Cannot.
space, no stage space.
We end up fighting. I ask the question, then they will give a wrong answer, then I will correct them. Cannot be like that.
Isn't that what siblings are all about? It's so nice to see Theo there. Hi, Theo. Hi,
Hey,
Ileana.
hi, yeah, Tio is on as well. Yeah.
Yeah, Hazman is also there. Wow, good.
Oh, these are all my friends. Gladys, Tio, Hasman.
I know. So nice to see all of them on. So anyway, I'm so intrigued by your introduction, Koji. Ajit. Oh my God. It's going to take me 20 more years to get used to Ajit, okay? I can remember Teddy Bear pretty nice. Of course, like he said, him and I go way back since about almost more than 20 years that we've been working, and that's the real truth because I feel it's more important building friendship than really client vendor relationship. So yeah, here we are as friends. Anyway, enough about us. Before we divert this show into a trip down memory lane and make everything about just us, right? Here's a little reminder to you guys. For your information, this is a live show and we encourage engagement. So please feel free to comment, chat, ask questions, debate with us. Like Ajit said, if he brings his brother in, he will start correcting them. So if you need to correct us, feel free, no worries.
Yes.
We are on a very fun
Put in your
platform.
comments. Yeah.
Yeah. So whether you're tuning in from LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, because we're streaming live on three platforms. So, Koji, do you want to share with our audience about this show, a little bit about this show? For those who
welcome everybody. Yeah, welcome everybody. Welcome again. For those who are tuning in and those who are having lunch, this is lunchtime. So please also do share with us what you guys are having, so we can also share what we are having. I am at a hotel. I am going to have wonderful lunch after this. No, so please. Huh?
Am I invited?
Come. After this, come. Let me get the session over first. This is my first session. I am also a bit excited, but not forgetting nervous as well. So, guys, if I fumble anywhere, so please forgive me. My first session. Trust me, we will get better as time goes by. Okay, so here we go. This session is actually about HR TV, and with me I have got Shireen. But since Shireen have got trust in me, so I am going to take this full opportunity to move on and to take on and to see how I could add value to everybody in this session as well. since it's a HR interaction, so I may have some comments and may have some feedback as well as we go along. Okay. Should we bring in should I do a guest introduction, Shireen?
Well, that would be a great idea. But before you start that, let me introduce a little bit about Compass Mind, as this session is brought to you by Compass Mind Asia, which is a well-renowned training provider company that helps organization pop exponentially through our award-winning and proven corporate training programs. So from soft skills to team building, you name it, we've got it. So you know what, Ajit? Yeah, maybe it is time. We don't want to take too much of stage time. Let's bring in our speaker. I leave you to introduce her.
Okay, today we have got the Chief Human Resource Officer from HRD Corp. She has got strong background in human resources. She holds a degree in business management in human resources from UITM Mara, and she's actually a certified HR professional from SPHRI, US certification, and she has got she's also has been in the industry for about 16 good years. So, and she has also spearheaded some local and multinational industries such as fast-moving consumer goods, property, retail, and also some government-linked companies. Now, that is really an impressive background. Now, following me with me today, fellow audience, I would like to welcome Siti Suryati, Chief Human Resource Officer of Human Resource Development Corp. Welcome, Suryati. Yay!
Thank you.
I can whistle
That
now.
was my first introduction. It was like so difficult. Shireen, she have told me it's so difficult to do this job.
You're
Great. Thank you for the introduction. Yeah.
Yes, Suryati. Over to you.
How are you, Sue? So such an honor having you with us today. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm good. I think today's weather looks good. It's not, it's been very rainy and wet for the past 2 days, but today was fine. So I think the traffic was also good. So I think today is a better day.
Are you in the
Then
office?
yesterday.
Yes, I am in the office. Yes.
You had your lunch?
Oh, not yet,
I
unfortunately.
believe so. You must be nervous as well.
So
No, I
we
didn't
just
have time. I had a back-to-back discussion and meetings this morning,
Okay,
so
okay,
I'll have it
okay.
up next. Yeah.
we will hear the two tummies rumbling in a while. I actually had that situation once in a meeting. Luckily, the meeting was going on. My tummy was making noise. Nobody could hear. Suddenly, everyone went silent and decided to make noise. That's when the client said, Shireen, you need food. So I learned my lesson, always eat before going for a session. So our new co-host, Kojit, has really introduced you, Sue, in depth, but that was more like a formal and corporate introduction. I'm sure, because our audience have, some are new. I see some new faces, and I'm sure they would love to know more about you. So perhaps you want to share a little bit more about your casual side, something fun, something you love doing, some of your hobbies.
Would you like to
Okay.
eat?
Oh yeah, I'm from Penang, so I'm a foodie, definitely.
Ooh,
You cannot come from there not eating
you
the
not eat,
fabulous and
yes.
delicious food. But now I reside here. I was born in Penang, born and raised in Penang, but my family shifted when I was 17. No, when I was 18 after SPM, my family decided to shift here, so they are all living here. Fun fact about me, well, I have a license, scuba diving license. I'm an advanced license.
Wow.
Yeah, so I do scuba diving and I have advanced license, so I can do night dive as well. So the other thing about me is I also do horse riding. So my hobby that I like is I do swimming and also I horse ride. I try to do it as much as possible, but sometimes weekends phew, just like that. So you don't really have like time. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's just a bit of my fun fact, maybe.
Where
Yeah.
did you learn to horse ride?
Well, I started in the Nayalam Recreation Center, the RRC,
Ah,
for almost 1.5 years until I can fully canter. And then now I do more of outriding, and I ride with my fellow riders that can do outright. It's much more fun to ride outside or to do your hacking, or if you know if you're seasonal rider, you know what this hacking is, rather than to ride in the paddock. So it's a bit boring to ride in the paddock, but you need that to brush up your skills of your techniques of your riding, so that it gives you more comfort and safety when you ride outside.
interesting, interesting. Anyway, I just need to ask this one question. Do you think a person like me would be able to ride a horse, and the horse will be able to carry me and my weight and all that?
Can't
Oh,
believe this question
definitely
came
there's a
up.
maximum. There's a maximum weight limit to a horse. I think the bigger horse can goes up to 100 kg, if I'm not mistaken. Depending on the weight of the horse, and the smaller one would go, maybe lesser than 60 kg and things like that. So there is a limit to the kgs, your weight to ride a horse, because it's going to be at hazard to and back pain to the horse.
Then I think I should just stick to elephants.
So you got your answer, Ajit. So you said
Yes,
scuba diving.
yes,
Would you
yes.
ever dive with the sharks one day?
Oh,
Uh, Actually, my friends did it. There are places that the sharks are team lah. So uh, surprise, no, definitely not. But if you are already you plan to have that dive with a shark, then okay, then I'm more prepared. But if it just suddenly you're trying to do fun dive, and then suddenly a big shark comes, oh, definitely not lah.
Panic, man, panic.
have you ever seen a shark before? Yeah?
Uh,
In a
One
while
lah,
diving?
ikan you lah, the ikan you in Tioman.
Oh,
One, you bodoh, if people if people Penang, they call it you bodoh. That's right.
You go, you
Yeah,
bamboo
it's
sharks.
not.
Yeah, but it's so honestly for those who don't dive, it is so serene down there. You just hear nothing at all. You
oh.
just hear the water and you just with the fish. Because I dive too, but I haven't dived in a while. If you don't dive, go and dive right soon. Would you recommend for
Yes,
people to
yes,
dive?
yes, yes, exactly. It's a different world. It's a different entirely. But you must not have the water fear lah. If you have that water fear, then you won't enjoy. You will be much more stressful than enjoying that. Yeah.
Very cautious. You are right. I almost drowned in a swimming pool during my honeymoon.
Oh,
And
Yeah.
so I'm very scared of water. So I'm more cautious under there, and especially when the water goes into the mask and you need to let it out in the deep ocean.
But I would just want to also mention that you don't need to know how to swim to dive.
Yeah,
Okay,
oh, okay.
so anybody wants to go and take diving license, you don't know how to swim, it's fine.
you just
Unless
need
you want
to
to,
breathe.
unless you want to take a rescue diving license, then you need to have the skill to swim. So I have many divers friends that don't even know how to swim. So don't worry. So it's a myth that you need to know how to swim to know to get a diving license. So not to worry, it's two different techniques, two different opposite techniques that you need to dive and to swim. I do both, so I'm telling you it's safe to do it.
Oh, marvelous, marvelous. I
So
learned
Ajit,
something today.
you know you can do it too. I
Yes,
take
yes,
you
yes.
along because I need to discover scuba diving again. I totally forgot all the
Yeah, you
techniques.
just need to do a refresher.
Yeah, totally forgot. Anyway, let's say hi to Shazi. Shazi says she's eating ayam gepak mengancam extra
Extra
pedas. Oh,
pedas.
not bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hungry.
Mm.
So for all the other guests, we see we have quite a lot of you on the show. Let's hear where are you from, because honestly, we've had people from local and international. We have people from Australia, from US, from Middle East, Myanmar, Cambodia, Philippines. So let us know where are you from, and if you're having lunch, let us know what's for lunch, because our dear two friends have not eaten. So let them have a feel about what you're eating. All
Sherry, you're
right,
so bad, Sherry.
not
You
to
make
be
me
laughing
hungry.
about it.
You probably hear my stomach growling soon.
Okay. Next time I'll send chocolates to you first. So I'll just introduce a little bit about the show before we move on. As the world is rapidly evolving, organizations are looking for ways to keep up with the changes. There's so much of changes happening around, on a daily basis, monthly basis. Most organizations are only beginning to consider digital HR and work on a strategy. So embracing the new way of conducting HR functions like processing and servicing, hiring, there is so many processes in HR, right? Studies have shown that digitalization practices such as video interviewing. Have you guys started on video interviewing already?
Yes.
The two of you, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
It actually has improved hiring accuracy by as much as 86% due to the usage of automation in determining the candidate's specialization, technical skills, and years of experience. And actually, the robot can do a lot more things. This results in a streamlining process, which leads to better efficiency and productivity, which somehow saves time. And what most businesses want to do now is save costs too, right? Especially with the new Employment Act, they also want to save time, cut down on time, and find better ways of doing things. But how true is this? We'll find out about that and more from our guest, Sue, today. So, Sue, are you ready for our first question?
Yes,
Yes.
sure.
All
Okay.
right,
Without
over
further
to you
ado,
for
yeah.
question number one.
Yes. Before we move on, let's get the basics first.
Hmm.
Can you explain to us what actually is all about HR digitalization? What is it all about?
Okay, so it's separate to HR digitalization and also digitization. Digitization is when you automate your processes. Yeah, so that's what HR digitization is, and digitalization is when you use your tools to emulate your daily process. So in HR processes from end to end, from onboarding to offboarding per se. So that's what HR digitization and digitalization, to summarize and to sum up how it says here.
Okay.
Wow,
Interesting.
honestly, I never knew there was a difference, but yeah, now I know. Okay, HR has been the essence of organization since the first human resource department, which was, do you all know when? Which year? And let's ask our guests. Okay, as we go along, do you know when the first HR department was established? Okay, just type it down and I'll
Yeah.
tell you whether it's right or wrong. I will tell you at the end of the show what was the year. So, can you explain to us why is HR digitization important now, Sue?
Well, I think with the recent what has happened to us in the COVID and pandemic, it's a blessing in disguise that we feel that it's no longer you can wait. It's inevitable. Okay, we have to move. Last time, we used to say, we have to invest so much, so and things like that. But in just days, we didn't expect, pandemic to come, COVID-19 to come. It doesn't give us a room for us to debate about budget or things like that. You just have to move on with life. So it's no longer something that is necessary. It's something that is inevitable and you're needed, and it is a must. It's just like now you need the handphone. Last time it's just a tools. Only the the certain groups have handphones, but now everyone, to your kids, needs that. It's a necessity tools right now. So it's no longer of debate of should we have it, or not. It's inevitable, and we need to move fast with the recent pandemic, and taking the blessing in disguise and what has happened. We need to move on fast. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that word blessing is disguise is actually what I totally agree on. I think the pandemic came and it was like a tsunami. It gave us no time to think. You change or you get wiped out, isn't it?
Exactly.
Correct.
Yeah. So
Mm.
it's good that a lot of organizations have changed and adapted and are actually moving digital, because I think this is the digitization is something we should have done many years ago, if not
Exactly.
five 5 years ago, more than that. Yeah.
Yes.
But I think change is pretty hard. So the pandemic came at the right time. It was
Exactly.
like you say, a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think most of the big companies have probably already started their process to digitalize before even pandemic. But pandemic has speeded the process. So a lot of organization was given a shock suddenly out of the blue. And we are doing it, but we are taking our own sweet time. Some of them were even starting to experiment with work from home. But when pandemic hit, everything need to transform immediately. Okay, that brings us to the next question. Our next question would be: what are the processes involved when you talk about HR digitalization?
Well, I prepared a slide. In essence, in a nutshell, what are the whole entire process of the from the start towards the end. So maybe Ajit, I just go through, explaining this.
Yeah, marvelous. Yeah, yeah, this is quite comprehensive. Good.
Okay. So just I break this down to about six processes of how the end to end comes to a process. So number one is you need to set your goal right. Yeah, so you need to have your clear definition of what you need for your organization. When you're setting your goal, you need to know your you might want to do your, why is it there for? Is it for your employees? What is the benefit? You might want to do your SWOT analysis, and then you come to, once you are firm of what you want and what are the changes that you want to bring in, and then you go to the project management stage, where the project management stage is, if I were to give some tips, I mean, I just, while I'm also explaining this, I would maybe throw out some tips and do's and don't as well, when you're at that particular stage as well. Okay, so when you're doing the when before you're at the project management stage, before you request for RFP, I would recommend that you do your background research first. Yeah. So meet all these vendors, explore all sorts of tools or system that is out there, be it tier one, tier two, tier three, because different organization that you are in, different approach that you want. Okay, so there are many. It's like mushrooms right now, sort of system out there, off shelf system, and mostly are already on cloud. Last time you debate, either you want on premise or on cloud. I think nowadays it's a no brainer, you need to go for on cloud. Okay, with what just has happened, it's all on cloud. Nothing, no debate anymore on that part. Okay, so there's a lot of on cloud and off shelf system out there. So depending on the organization size that you are in, the industry that you are in, do you have many subsidiaries? Do you have many different sets of policy? Do you have, are you a conglomerate, or you are just small startup organization, things like that? So you need to experience the modules that are in the system. Do you need a full suite system, or do you need to just have some systems module to, based on your SWOT analysis that you have, or the gap analysis that you have done previously when you develop your goal, right? So once that is established, you have explored, you have listened, you have done your research, you know what that system can give, cannot give, and things like that, then you establish your RFP. So it depends on also your procurement processes of your organization. Some can do open tenders, some can do closed tenders, some can do direct award and things like that. So it depends on your governance and also your procurement processes. Yeah. So when you're preparing your RFP, what I would suggest is be very specific in what you want or the question that you want to ask. Okay. Don't no, don't be vague. Don't be general. There could be general questions, yes, but be very specific depending on the module. Break it to the modules and have that kind of questions depending on the modules that you want specifically. Do you have this? Do you have that? In this module, do you have mobile apps, for instance? Do you have this, access to this? Do you have integration? Do you have this, what sort of integration? How many integration ports can be done? And be very specific in what you want to ask, so that they can answer you specifically as well, because sometimes, sales, when they're trying to say, when they're trying to sell this system, you say, oh, I can do this, and this, and it's very, you tend to generalize and assume everything, oh, it can be done, but you are caught. And then, and towards only at the end of the stage, you will say, oh, they cannot do this and this because of this. Sometimes because you don't ask, they just keep it silence because you didn't even ask about it, so that's why the background check, the background study, you might want to benchmark with other organization, how they do it and things like that, while you're preparing your RFP. RFP is a very important step, okay? And many take it very lightly,
Yeah.
very lightly, and they caught up with that at the during the implementation stage. So this is some tips that I could come back. So project plan. Okay, moving on to the project plan. So you need to also know, how do you want to go live big bang, for instance, or do you want to go live by stages, by modules? Which modules first? Usually, I would recommend that Employee Central or EC or whatever, ESS or whatever they call it, depending on the system, that module has to be implemented first, because that would be the heart of the whole entire module. That module, Employee Central, is where the employee data is there, the employee name, their grade, and their performance and things like that. The info is there. So Employee Central is very much important, so that when you go to a different module, let's say performance or in recruitment or anything else, that information will flow to the other modules. So rather than you do performance first, let's say, I'm just giving example, you go live with your performance module, but you're just doing your Employee Central right now, for instance. Now you have to do double job, because you need to feed information of this employee to your performance, and then only you do the Employee Central. So that's a non-valued added job that you put on extra tasks to your department. Although it's important that you want to go ahead with performance because that will be your top priority, but then again, look into the practicality, look into the um, what is needed. Is it does look do your risk analysis as well when you want to plan all this. And then, how long is the project plan? Is it a 12 months, 6 months, depending on the capacity? Look into your resources as well, because if your team, let's say in EC, your resources team or your department unit is the same person going to do for performance, for instance, so you cannot have the implementation simultaneously, right? So sometimes when we go, like when we implement, you implement two or three modules at the same time. But if the same team is doing it, then you won't be able to do so. Okay, it looks nice on paper, but your team, I don't know, you have to take pisau kerat 10 ke kerat 5, I tak tahulah kan. So you have to be very practical and think about it. So you need to know the resources, because the people that are doing the implementation is also the people that is going to do your day-to-day job, your business as usual things. So unless you hire or you have a people like a project manager or change management manager external to manage the whole entire project management. But then again, that is only a project manager and change manager. The people who is going to be the subject matter expert is still your team, right? So you need to look into the resources. You need to ensure that you have the right resources, where you want to manage your project timeline and your approach of how you want to go live and things like that. All right. So next would be after analysis, is it? Yeah, analysis
Yeah.
and design is where I come from just now, where it says, what are the modules that you want. You don't need a full suite, let's say. You might need only 5 modules for the start, or you want to go big bang, or you want to go full suite. Do you need, are you going, you need to plan out what sort of integration that you need. Let's say now you want to do EC, Employee Central. What are the other system or integrations that you want? Let's say, for instance, you want to integrate with your insurance and your medical, if you have PM care or what are the others, other there, contoh lah example, PM care. So you want to maybe integrate your employee central with PM care system, for instance, because when your employees come in and go, once you update in the system, it will just directly update in theirs as well, live. So you don't have to do the old school method where on monthly basis you need to produce Excel report and things like that to your medical partners and things like that. So those are the things that will reduce your non-value added task. Yeah. So what else? If you have, for instance, you have another system for assessments, let's say, for instance, Ascendo or another things, others, maybe there are standalone system that you might want to still maintain, although when you have your main HR system, but you still want to have that standalone other systems out there, then you might want to integrate with your employee central, because again, your sister HR system, because it's going to flow and give the right information that is needed. If not, you have to do a manual intervention. It will just not, it will just add on many other manual tasks at the end.
Mm.
Yeah. So moving on to that, once you have the all those in place, then you have to engage the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? So there's a lot, depending on your process. If, let's say, your project needs to be approved until the board level, so you need to engage a lot of hierarchy there, right? So you need to engage your bosses, your your CEO. You need to get them on board. Your C-suite level, you need to get them on board, because investment in digital transformation or HRS system specifically you're talking about, there's a lot of investment there, right, at the start. So depending on the size of your organization, it can go to million if you have a huge organization with many, when you're talking about cloud basis system, it goes by, it called SaaS, yeah. So service as so when you SaaS, the module is how they pay, is the mechanism is you go by the license, right? So you pay them by the license. So you pay them by the license. That is on a yearly basis, or depending on the contract that you have, 2 years, 3 years of contract that you tie in with your system provider, and then the other one is a separate one, is your implementation one-time cost. So it's two costs that you're going to be incurred, and the other one is your maintenance, is your yearly system maintenance cost. Okay. So depending on, like I say, the level of approval that you need to engage with different stakeholders, the CE, the C-suites, the board members, your employees, and things like that. So even the vendors or the implementers, and also the system, you need to engage with procurement. You need to have a good relationship with procurement. You need to have good relationship with IT to buy in your idea in terms of you are embarking this journey. So you need them to be all on board and in the same page, so that you can have a smooth journey later on. That is where I'm coming from on the engagement of stakeholder. It's very important. It looks petty, but it's very much important. Yeah. So moving on. Am I talking too fast? Let me know if I'm talking.
No, but you look tired. You okay? You
This
good?
is- if I'm
Very
talking
useful
too fast, let me
information.
know. So this is something very close to my heart, and I've done it from end to end. So I have
Ah,
a lot to talk about. I can go on and go on and go on. I can take a lot of things, tips, and here and there. But I'm just gonna give the most important G's in today's session. I can, if not, you can never finish it. You can never end. But if
So
I'm
when
talking
end at
too
5 o'clock, right?
fast, if I'm talking too fast, let me know. I can slow down.
nah, you're good. You're good. Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
Maybe
moving on to the next one is, once your project has been, your RFP, your tender, blah blah blah, all has been completed, and then now you already has identified your system that you're going to use, and you have identified the implementer vendor, the system vendor that is going to implement for you, right? So once that has been identified, then approval stage all approved, then you want to kick off. That's the first thing that you want to do. You want to kick off your system. You want to get everyone on board. You want to share the brief timeline that how what you're going to do. You want to tell your employees, we are embarking on this journey in the next 12 or whatever month it is. You're going to expect this to come. Get them excited, get them hype. Also, get everybody on board
The
for the kickoff.
communication part.
Yes, and make sure the other thing is when you're looking for a partner for vendor, your vendor for the implementation, it's also very important that you have a good partnership relationship with them, because if you have don't look as though as you're the salesperson, I'm the client here, but I always stress out that have the good partnership. I always say, you're not a vendor and I'm not a client, we are a partner here.
Yeah.
We both want success in this project, right? So only when we have that, establish that mindset with your vendors and things like that, it will make your life easier, trust me. Okay, so but if you have that, no, I'm paying you, you must do this, and you don't want to compromise things like that, at the from the very beginning, it's going to stress you a little bit. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
have that partnership engagement with your vendor, the implementers that you're going to work with. Okay, as well as make sure that you choose the right implementer. Make sure you do a diligent due diligence to ensure the success rate of your implementer. Okay, the implementer that you want to choose, go ahead and see what sort of project or industry that they work with, which organization, what is the success rate, have they done this before, like those kind of things. So you might want to do a reference check, reference call with other organization that they have implemented, things like that. You have all the rights to do so. Okay, so once you're confident in the success rate that you've completed, then it's going to be, it makes your life a little bit easier, although there's a lot more things tasks to coming in, right? So kick
Mm-hmm.
off, and then you start your project implementation. When you start your project implementation, of course, obviously you have your Gantt chart. You already know what is your timeline you're looking at, what of modules that you're going to implement first, second, third, first phase, how many phase, what is the approach you're going to take, and things like that. So when you're doing your implementation, it's very important that sometimes what we want is very cloud nine. Okay, very cloud nine. We want this like this. We want everything to be like super robotic and things like that. But don't forget that we are human resource. We manage human. We must not make you. We must not forget that this system, yes, although it's coming, that we must also have that human touch in how we manage the entire human resource or the employee life cycle. Okay, don't forget that. Don't like everything you want to automate. Contohnya lah, if I could give something like a Cloud9 kind of envision is performance. You want to make sure that, okay, let the system give you the rating. Is that okay? Yes, of course, the system can give you the ideal rating based on your target and things like that. But again, there's always human that can give justification. There's a lot of intangible factors or tangible factors that can that in the end the line manager is can give the exact grade based on the bench, based on the system recommended and things like that. But if you just want to just 100% leave to the computer or to the system to decide, and you don't have that human touch and the human nature, then I don't need you anymore, right? So I don't
Correct.
need a major anymore, right? So again, so you're managing human. There's a lot of things. There's no empathy in system. There's no sympathy and empathy and all the other factors in human that is in the system. So it's just 1 0. Don't forget. Okay, all right. So that are the things that you need to think when you're implementing, but also challenge yourself. Okay, let's say now you have a 10 process in place. In During implementation, when you're doing your workshop, you really need to take the 10 process in the new system. Can you cut it short? So even to the simplest things like employee information, if there are so many that you're asked, ask back yourself, is this component needed? Is, for instance, gender. Do you need gender? Do you need to know? For instance, okay, I'm just giving an example.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I see number. Do you really need this? These are the questions. If it's just tick in the box and you don't have answer to it, meaning to say you can scrap it off. You don't even need that information. If it's yes, I need it for audit purposes, yes, I need it because of statutory purposes or things like that, then you have a justification. You know it's important, you did it. But if you don't even have an answer to it, it's just that, we've been requesting it for the last 10 years and you're still asking it, ask yourself again, right? Ask yourself again, challenge, do that. The processes you have been doing this 10 years ago, do you want to keep doing it in the next, in the next year or so when you go live with the new system and things like that? So that's why it says keep it simple, challenge and do things differently. And this is a platform where you want to think, because anyhow you will be discussing it during the workshop. So you have the iteration, and then you want to do your UAT test and things like that. So when it comes to UAT, I would also recommend that you to have a pilot users, not just HR doing the UAT. Okay, then you will be shocked sendirilah. Okay, because who are we servicing? Is the employee experience that we're looking at when we're implementing this system, right? It's a
Right.
customer, which in HR, our employees is our customer. So employee experience is what we're looking at. So make sure you have your UAT people, pilot testers from different sort of backgrounds. Meaning to say, you have line managers, you have staffs, normal without line, a sole contributor, and then you have people with subordinates, and then you have the C-suite level and things like that. So you would want them to have that. So you will have that feedback, more robust feedback, and you will be able to make things quickly, changes quickly, even before when you go live. So support time, you have less hassle, you have less issues, you have less. It's more, the experience is much more better when you go live, right?
Flow.
So,
Mm-hmm. Flow.
maybe you can go back to the slide. Yeah.
Sue, before you go on, I just want to let the audience know, because this is a very good framework. And if you guys are implementing it, because we have about 10 minutes left on the show,
Okay.
if you guys are implementing it, or haven't started implementation, or actually already have a system running, and you have any questions, please put it in a chat box, because Sue will try to answer them. But if you don't have any yet, please follow Sue's framework. It's such an amazing, detailed one. I think it's so good. Yeah, Sue, sorry for interrupting.
No,
Go
no
on.
worries. If you have any question, I mean, maybe sometimes like you mentioned, some is going through it, some has really no idea how to start, or some has already go live, but they're still having issues and things like that. I'll try to answer as much as possible based on my experience that I have. Yeah, no worries. You can just shout out your questions. I will try to answer it as well.
Thanks, Sue. All
Yeah.
right.
If there's no question, I'll just move into, in the interest of time, I'll just move into the rollout session. Rollout session is where you go live, right? So before you go live, you need to ensure that your change management is in place.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that when you have, yeah, I forgot to mention as well, when you're doing the RFP, if you have a budget to it, make sure that you ask if your implementer does the change management as well. Maybe not all, but maybe some quarter, they can be able to do as a scope of work of theirs as well. Some you need to hire external, some like PMG, sorry, KPMG, Accenture and things like that. They have a team that will be able to help you as well. But if you have limited budget and you want to do it in-house, make sure you have a proper planned out. You have change management before you go live. You have all the hands out, you have the training materials, you have the training, you went out to train your people how to use it. You come out with your proper plan on, when do you launch it, when do you want to tell people that it's coming and things like that. So proper change management will ease your life much more easier when you go live. If you don't have that, then you will go live, but nobody's going to use your system. Yeah, you're going to have more problem than celebrating it when you go live, right?
Heard
Okay,
of that, yeah.
yeah.
Interesting, interesting.
Once that is done, it's more of a um, ongoing support, more of ongoing support, more of a managing the culture of using it. Last time being using manual or some other system. Now you want to you want to make sure that the percentage of the usage of the system, and maybe the mobile apps, things like that, it is going on. And then you want to make sure that you have them, you give the guidance and communication to them. If they're stuck here, where do they go? If they're stuck here, because sometimes when you roll out, there's too many modules. Sometimes they only take back from the training that you process, that you gave to them. They only take back 10%, and the other one is when they started to use, then they only use, oh, I'm stuck. Where do I do? So do you have a place that you put in the training modules, or the interactive guide? If you have, some guides are very interactive. You click here, it's very like like a simulator, but it's a guide. You can use it in this real life system. So it depends on how your change management approach is. Again, the change management, why is it very much important? I like to stress it out again. It's because of all of this. Yeah. And then you evaluate the success, you get feedback, and then maybe you want to continuously improve your system. Sometimes you overlook, or sometimes you feel that, oh, this process is, you already reduce it to 8, now you can even reduce it to 4, for instance. As time goes by, then you want to always tweak here and there, where you want to make sure, you want to enhance and enhance and enhance. And sometimes all the system cloud based system they always come with a better version. Sometimes and it comes with free, because you're paying for the services, right? You're paying the license.
Upgrades.
Yeah. Upgrades, correct. That's it. So you come with a better upgrade. So sometimes when the upgrade is definitely, sometimes they'll give you time to upgrade it. So when it's upgrade and you have already changed the version, you might need to do another change management. So if it's just minor here and there, it's fine. But if it's huge, if it's major, then you might need to plan out another change management and things like that. So it's never ending. When you have go live, you have a lot more to look into, and HR still have value added. At least we have a value added task. We have removed and automate on certain things, and now we have to ensure that the digitalization experience is much more better for an employee experience here.
Mm.
Wonderful, wonderful. This framework is very complete. I think today is a very beneficial section for everyone. The content
Exactly.
is really good. Those who look at this, they get a clear idea of what to do, how to roll out them. Because
Yeah,
before
that's
we,
true. Ajit, I think let's give Sue a moment to sip some water,
hmm,
because that framework was so good. If
yeah,
you
my
guys
God,
love it
so
and have
detailed.
benefited so much from it, give Sue some thumbs up and hearts. Yeah, we let her drink some water first, because we got some questions from the
Yeah,
audience. And at the same time, we
let's give
also
a
want to
shout out to
shout
the
out
our
to
audience.
Jason, Nicholas, Chanel. He said
Chanel, yeah.
5. Good try. Thanks
Good
so
try.
much. What I have is 1901. Hi, Chanel. Eva. Hi, Eva. Wow. Jasmine Peter.
Jasmine, she agrees with what Shireen said. Okay, we
Rushlaka. Wow. Hi, Koji, the new guy. But this Kasma. Hi, Koji.
Asma.
Let's say hi, Koji, at
Hi,
least. Two. We are the two ladies, not, you know, hi,
Eva.
Koji, because he's the new guy.
Eva said the right thing. Salesman, she knows what you mean. They sugarcoat whatever they are selling, so you have to be very careful in your RFP. Need to be as detailed as possible. And we have a question from Hazman.
Mm.
Hazman, the question is ROI important for digital transformation, and how can we measure this? I think this is a good question.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think it's a very good question. So many of the organization ask this as well, at the very beginning and things like that. So as part of how you want to get people to embark, engage stakeholders, is also to show them the ROI. So how do you calculate? Okay, takes for a simple thing like a process, like if you're for instance, if you're doing a claim, right now it's manual. How long do you from the start, from employee start to claim until to the right the end, until you approve and the payment comes in? Track that process, right? How long does it take? Is it 3 working days? Is it 4 working days? Or how does the process goes? So but with the for instance, the new system coming in, let's say they can claim from manual, now they can claim through mobile apps. Just one snap picture, they cut, and then they send. So it's from like a day or so, it's now a 5 minute thing. So that's how you calculate, right? So that's how you calculate based on the manpower, the usage, the time, and things like that. So that is just one process. It could be recruitment after this. It could be a lot more. So you can detail out as much, many as many processes to that.
Processes.
Then you can
Yeah, yeah,
actually quantify it in terms of the time base that you use. Now you might need three staff, but when you have a system you might need only two to manage, or one even to manage the system, and the other two, I'm not saying that you can remove, it can be redundant, it can do a better strategic work and a
yeah,
value added work. That's another thing that you need to strategize out. So it's not about having digital HR digitalization, you can remove everyone, from a bigger 20, now you can leave five. It's not all the case, it's not all the case. Yeah, some you can still maintain, you can have a smaller team, yes, some. But the others is, if you have a HRBP, you can convert your HRBP to do more strategic, more engagement to the system, sorry, to the operations, to the people. So there are a lot of strategies, and there are a lot of ways that you can quantify this as well. And
perfect.
how do you want to see that? Yeah,
Very good,
I
very
hope I
good. Well
answered.
said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely. Sounds
yeah,
sounds really good.
definitely.
I'm sure the audience has more
No
questions, but you
questions.
know what? I didn't realize this, but we are 3 minutes towards the end of the show.
And exactly,
How
exactly.
time
Yeah,
flew.
yeah.
So
Thank you so fast.
so far. So because we're coming to the end of the show, we'll have to get, if you guys have more questions, please direct it to Sue. She'll be very happy to answer, or just drop me a PM on LinkedIn and I will direct your questions to Sue, because she's got all the experience, and her talking with full of passion. I'm sure, Sue, you are happy to guide them if they have any
Yeah,
questions. Yeah,
yeah.
because some of the questions could be, what are the do's and don'ts? What are the challenges that they might face through this journey? But anyway, we're approaching the end of the show for today. So we would really like to thank you, Sue, for such an amazing and insightful session. It was so detailed. The
My
framework is,
pleasure.
wow, I tell you, that is a wonderful framework. And most of all, thanks to all the serious discussions with us today and all the audiences. So before we end, are there any way the audiences can reach out to you? Should they have, more questions besides they PM me and I can send it to you? Do you want to
Yeah,
give that as
you can. Yeah, you can connect me on LinkedIn. I'm Siti Suryati Kamasnawi. Yeah, so that's my full name, short name Su Suryati. Okay, so yeah, you can reach out through LinkedIn, or I'm on Facebook and also IG. Same on my IG and Facebook is Su Suryati. So only short, yeah, not full. So that's how you can connect me. And I'm reachable in HRD Cob as well.
well? That's the easiest way, right?
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Cool. Easy way to find you.
Yeah.
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 Our team has already put it in the clicker below, and they will share your social media link also in the chat, your Facebook, IG, and also LinkedIn. To our audience, stay tuned on Compass Mind Asia's social media page for more info about our upcoming episodes. We'll put up the links in the comment section below on the next upcoming ones. If you are a HR leader or want to be a guest on this HR TV show, drop me a PM on my LinkedIn, or well, you can just email us. And if you are a HR or an L&D manager and you're planning to do your soft skill trainings or team building trainings for the year, because team building is like the thing now. Everyone wants to get out, after the whole pandemic. Well, just reach out to training@compassmind.com and we'll be happy to assist you. So, since we've come to the end, we'll see you guys on our next episodes of HR Intervention Serious Discussions Only. Bye.
No.
Bye.